you guys doing? Well, welcome. I am FPWellman. Welcome to Too Late to Cancel. All new. I see a lot of the familiar faces, all the new brands and stuff. So dig it. Gotta get a new sign. Gonna have to get a new sign. JJ, we'll have to get that. Man, it is great to be back. Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Sorry for you on the West Coast, but we're gonna get you pumped. You hear the new music, see the new brand. Welcome to the new show, right? So we are all different now. We're embracing the madness. Look, we saw the local for Hi Vern, Hi Lois, everybody. Yeah, you see the usual madness. We kind of decided to just embrace the crazy. So now you've got us now. It's too late to cancel, kind of having some fun. You know, the thing is, we figured out, I watch a lot of these podcasts. That's a lie. I don't watch that many. But if I did, I have noticed that many of those who are with us now here on our side of this little spectrum, we're a little dour these days. I mean, obviously there's an apocalypse. The economy's collapsing. Everything's going to shit. People are being sent to third world shitholes. But if you can't laugh during that, what else can you do? So that's what we kind of embraced here at Too Late to Cancel, because, we've been doing it anyways. So we'll still have some incredible, smart guests that you wouldn't believe today. We're going to talk to Peter Simon, a Northeastern University economist. I cannot tell you how hard it was to find an economist this week. And for some reason, they're like a hot ticket right now, right? I don't know why, but good luck. I mean, poor Anne-Marie the Booker called like 90 economists. Luckily, Peter foolishly answered his phone. He's going to come on and talk about this tariff roller coaster. You're going to love it. We've got an amazing, you may have seen this viral post going out from a reverend, 85-year-old pastor from South Carolina, actually North Carolina. I'll get in trouble for that if I see it wrong. Anyway, our North Carolina pastor, Richard Graf, this guy is amazing. So you'll see him later on the show talking about what's going on. He is remarkable. The panel, oh my God. I mean, we have got Gwendolyn Osborne-Smith. You've seen her on The Price is Right. You've seen her on reality TV. You've seen her on All the Queen's Match. She has a busy actress, model, influencer, and joined by none other than up-and-coming New York comedian Alex Kumin. I'm telling you, we are going to have a great time today. I guarantee it. But first, we've got to get to the news. I'm very excited to introduce our youth correspondent, Kyler Messenger. Let's do the news. Exciting first time ever. I'm so thrilled to introduce our first youth correspondent, Kyler Messenger. Kyler, introduce yourself to everybody.
What is going on, Fred? Like you said, my name is Kyler Messenger, 19 years old here, the youth correspondent for the Too Late to Cancel podcast. I do run a podcast of my own, the Hot 5 podcast, and I'm just your average 19-year-old, man. I do it all. I love going outside, playing sports, and watching the news, like every night.
A lot of news going on, man. There's so much news. Like, there's just a ton of news. Like, what are the kids talking about on campus right now, Kyler?
Well, right now, I go to Southeast Missouri State. Right now, honestly, they're talking about this terrible-looking campus. There's a ton of new renovations going on. The kids are not talking about the politics. I am not going to lie to you, Fred. I say the kids as in I'm not one of them. But
the youth.
The youth is not necessarily too interested. But social media is huge, as you know, and I see lots of social media buzz.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you're paying attention to the buzz. What's the buzz? Like, did you catch Cory Booker's just incredible filibuster? The longest filibuster in history. I'm sure the youth is a buzz about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Fred, I'm gonna be so honest with you. I get all of my news from TikTok. That is where about every person my age is getting their news from. The Daily Mail, TikTok, whatever page you're following, TikTok is coming through. And let me tell you, the filibuster was filling my page for the first couple of days. Now, Fred, I just want to make a couple notes about the filibuster. Now, I mean, it was amazing, right? I mean, he did his job. He talked for, 25 hours?
25 hours, a new record.
I mean, absolutely insane to talk for that long. I get parched after about 10 minutes. I don't know how this guy goes 25 hours with barely drinking any water, goes 25 hours not going to the bathroom at all. But, Fred, let me tell you what I'm super astonished about. 25 hours, and a senator of the United States did not feel the need to pop one nicotine pouch in his mouth. Think about that.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm a little older. I don't know how I didn't pee. I mean, I got to pee. Like, I sneak off while we're doing the show to go to the bathroom. But incredible, 25 hours is an incredible. Yeah, there you go. You're drinking the big water. The youth have to have their big water. Well, what about, the House? I don't know if you heard the House passed their budget framework this week. And that includes a lot of really scary stuff in there. They're talking about cutting Medicaid. I don't know if that affects the youth that but that's a pretty big deal to a lot of people right now.
Personally, doesn't affect anybody that I know because nobody I know is talking about it, Fred, which is honestly a little bit of the problem. The youth is not informed. So here's what I'm going to make a comparison for you. We saw that bill being passed in the House. I'm going to compare Trump and his people in America to, say, a group project in a class, right? So I'm a college student. We have group projects all the time. Me personally, I hate group projects. Some people like them. I would consider Donald Trump and his administration to be one of those groups that likes them. I would say, let's imagine a group project. Let's imagine the professor, the doctor, whatever you want to call him, grabs a group of 5 people and they're like, here you are. Here's your project. There's 3 people who are working hard. There's probably one person who's doing most of the work. And there's 2 people who are helping them. And then you got those 2 people who are in those group who you just hate. They don't do anything. They just sit there and they act like they're doing anything, but they're really not doing anything. You know what they're doing? They're taking credit for the hard workers, and they're taking a work away from the hard workers. They're taking the money away or the grade in this.
The credit, yep.
You see what I'm saying? I would say Fred, I would say Trump and his people are the 2 people in the group project who aren't doing anything and are just taking credit for it. We can't take away Medicaid. We can't.
No, it's going to affect a lot of Americans who need the health care, which is going to be a major issue for you really soon, I imagine. Now, finally, obviously the big news that we were all dealing with this week was tariffs on, tariffs off, crash of the global economy. The market took quite a nosedive. I don't know if your investments were affected at all, Kyler, but what do you think of the fact they tried to crash the economy and put tariffs on everything?
I mean, look, I'm worried. I have friends who are full-time investors. That is a career that is 100% flourishing in the youth, Fred. I'm not sure if you're aware, but people don't go to school anymore, which is okay. It's all right. But people don't go to school anymore. They love to invest money, and day trading is very popular. I mean, I love roller coasters, but the stock market is just...
Yeah, it's a little breakneck.
It's crazy, but... I mean, yeah, I think people's jobs are being messed up by this now, whether you consider day trading, whatever. People make a lot of money doing this, and it's scary. If they weren't on top of it, it's real scary times.
Yeah, I can imagine. And they really wanted to get some stuff. Like, I don't know if you heard, they delayed the early pre-sales of the Nintendo Switch 2.
Dude, I'm pissed. Fred, let me tell you, I have an Xbox One. Now, I don't know if you're hip on this, but Xbox One is old gen. There's new gen,
man.
And there's old gen. I need a new generation. I wanted a Nintendo Switch 2, and now I have to wait to pre-order it. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Fred,
Donald Trump did that to you. That's true. It's shocking.
Appalled.
Shocking. But don't worry, you can get that new Xbox. And apparently the new Xbox actually will be doubled in price as well.
Oh,
so that's another thing to consider.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, Fred, look, you hear about kids these days. All I'm hearing is, let's go band for band. Oh, I got you. I bet you got more bands than me. Money, if you're not aware of what bands mean.
I was waiting for you to explain that. Yes.
Yeah, I got you. No problem here. And it looks like the USA and China are going tariff for tariff. I mean, it's just crazy, the economy in the world that we are living in right now. We're living in a world where the president of the United States is posting on his social media a video of a bomb.
Yeah.
Now, it's real life.
Oh, people eating their dinner. They're like people just chilling out, having their little holiday celebration. They're dropping bombs in their heads. It's not great. Not great at all. And that's big time social media fodder right now. Yeah, I can imagine you guys are a little bit nervous. It's a little bit crazy down there right now. But so what's next for you guys? I mean, what are you looking at in the next week or so, Kyler? You got big plans? Any stories you're keeping your eye on for us?
Well, the only thing I'm looking at in the next week is a plane out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, honestly, I'm just keeping aware of the tariffs and the tax breaks that are going on. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. That's a little bit of what I'm paying attention on now. I'm in college still, and I'm going to be in debt here in a couple years currently coming up. So it's something that I'm definitely interested in and something that it's hurting me a little bit. Something else that I've been looking into is the SAVE Act. I heard that SAVE Act got passed by the House. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, it's not great. It's to make more ID requirements. You can have like your birth certificate to get. And if women get married and they don't have their old birth, their name doesn't match, they may not be able to vote. It's pretty bad. I mean, the House passed. It's going to the Senate now. I mean, I work with veterans. Veterans are upset because they can't use their military ID anymore. I mean, it's a pretty crazy thing, isn't it?
Fred, I have a girlfriend. I'm gonna have to ask my girlfriend to not change her last name. Who would have thought that's the reality we live in?
That's true.
That's
where we live right now. Seems like you're pretty mad, Kyler. Pretty angry about these things.
I'm getting a little red. I'm about to match my St. Louis Cardinals shirt. There's some stuff that I get worked up about these days.
I understand. Well, the Cardinals suck. So that's not great either.
All right, what's your team? What's your team, Fred?
I just sound like it is, man. I mean, that's just not great around here. I live by the stadiums.
No, you're right.
Oh, God,
Exactly
we froze
right.
up.
Us Cardinals fans are insane.
Well, Connor, thanks for joining us for the first ever TLTC Youth Correspondent News. Look forward to talking to you more. And we want you to stay safe out there.
Of course, Fred. Thank you so much for having me.
You got a video? Oh, man, a lot of hot news. She's talking to JJ. Man, a lot going on. Kyler, of course, joined us. Hopefully we'll wake up next Sunday or the Sunday after to join us again. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the things we need to talk about, which was kind of crazy this week, which is the tariffs, right? We mentioned with Kyler in the news at the top of the hour, but I got to tell you, it was fucking what a fucking clusterfuck it was. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse, sorry, olders, but man, that was just a nuts week. And we went out looking, as I mentioned at the top, we were looking for Economist, and poor Anne-Marie the booker worked her fingers to the bone finding Economist. Thrilled to find Peter Simon. He is located at Northeastern University. He's been providing some really interesting comments. And the thing is, it doesn't end. If you remember, we just Friday night news them. So after the crazy tariffs, and you probably didn't see this because it went into the weekend, but look at this headline from Barron's. So Friday night, they announced they're going to give a break to Apple, NVIDIA, and Dell. So here's the punchline right now, you guys. At this moment, as we speak, if you build a computer completely in China or an iPhone completely in China, you can ship them with lower tariffs. But if you build in the United States with parts from China, 125% tariff on the parts. So in Trump's idiocy, he's actually made it worse for most Americans. Isn't that great? Well, we got a lot to talk about. So I want to welcome Dr. Peter Simon to the show. I mentioned he's an economist at Northeastern University. Peter, welcome to the show. Dr. Simon, welcome to Too Late to Cancel on Sunday. I don't think I've ever said this in my life before, but what a fascinating time to be an economist, right?
Fascinating is one way to put it. I imagine there are lots of other words you could use, but it is a tipsy-turvy way, for sure.
I actually had a hard time finding economists this week. You guys are very popular right now. It's a crazy week. It's an insane week. It hasn't let up yet. I mean, there's still Friday. We had a Friday night news dump, the tariffs being on, then off again, on again. I mean, it's a little crazy. Now, of course, I think you saw we had a Friday night news dump that the last minute he's giving a couple, I think Apple, NVIDIA, Dell, those products are not being tariffed. I mean, just I guess the bigger sense, as you as an economist, you've been doing this for a long time. What is your feeling then when you look at this whole affair? What's the first thing you think of?
Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that I think about at the same time. The tariffs and the stock market and the bond market obviously are going crazy. And the stock market is one thing. The bond market is another huge, big thing. I mean, our national debt is worth $36 trillion. All those bonds are now going down in price, which means they're going up in rates, which means that the government's going to have to pay a lot more. So there's those economic tangibles. But I think that the biggest issue that we face as a result of this is a loss of trust in the government, a loss of trust, not just in the government, but in the whole country, because it doesn't seem from a foreigner's perspective that anybody's able or willing to stop him from doing all that he's doing. And there are, 200 countries in the world at least. Yeah. And we're just one of them. We happen to be a very big one, and we're a rich one. So it's good to have us as a trading partner, but there are others. So we're going to lose. I've already heard that Canada is looking for partners. China's looking for partners. Mexico's looking for partners. Central and South America and the UK and EU are looking for partners to trade with, and they'll find them. There are enough countries around the world that produce food, they produce clothing, they produce textiles, they produce electronics. So this could have some long-term problems. Plus, his whole objective, it seems to me, if I believe what he said in the very first place, that he wants to have a surplus in the budget. Here's tax revenue that's going to come in from tariffs.
Right.
Here's the spending that's going to result as a result of cutting back all this spending. That surplus he's going to give to the wealthy in the form of a tax cut. I'm sure he wants to bring the tax rate down from 37% down to 30%, which is what President Reagan did. So that's just going to make the inequality in the United States even worse than it already is. And if you've read anything by Jack Goldstone, inequality is one of the biggest reasons that start revolutions around the world. So it's a it's a it's crazy. It's really a mess. And then his attack on colleges and universities and climate
Right.
change.
That's the other thing. You teach at Northeastern right now. I
Yes.
mean, I know we're
Yes.
hearing the reports. We're hearing the reports of students losing their visas. I mean, they're keeping
Yep.
track of that. I mean,
Yep.
it must be a wild time to be on a campus as well.
It is. Northeastern hasn't been directly affected that I'm aware of, but funding is a big issue.
Yeah.
And making sure that, I mean, it's such a blackmail thing, unless you get rid of all of your DEI, writings, then, we're going to cut back on all of our spending, which of course, a lot of big universities, they depend on that for grants and money that they get. So
Yeah.
it's going to have a big impact, I think. But once again, I think the biggest problem is nobody's going to trust the country anymore. Even once all this is over and the stock market is stable and the bond market is stable and the economy is growing again, the trust is gone.
Right.
As both the UK Prime Minister said and Canadian Prime Minister both said, this partnership is over, and that's a horrible thing to say. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and the thing, it's kind of like, I talk a lot about veterans and military issues. I
Mm-hmm.
am a veteran, but in
Mm-hmm.
a lot of ways, it's the same thing. I mean, we're just 3 months into this, right?
Yeah.
Our trading partner we have now, that this blow up that he did, even if we are who oppose Trump say, look, hanging with us, it's just we're gonna throw him out. Politics is politics here. It's
Yeah.
gonna change in 3 or 4 years. That's a long time, right, in the
Yeah.
world, and it's a
Yeah.
plenty of time for them to engineer new trade
Yes.
partnerships.
Yes.
Hell, it's enough time for them to build their own factories at that point, right? I mean, so this is a very, I
Yeah.
mean, doing it this early is very dangerous, isn't it?
Yes, agree. And what Trump expects to occur as a result of all these tariffs is that all of these manufacturing businesses are going to come back to the United States, and by tomorrow, poof, they're going to be manufacturing and put out all kinds of output. I mean, I just don't think he knows very much about manufacturing. First of all, it takes years to even build
Yeah.
something, and second of all, they're not going to employ thousands of employees. It's going to
No.
be all robots. So you've heard about dark factories.
Yeah.
They have all these robots. They don't need the lights. They don't need heat. They don't need people around. I mean, they can work 24/7. So this idea that this is going to bring a whole bunch of people into the workforce is just so false. And so many presidents, as far back as I can remember, have all promised, I'm going to bring back manufacturing. And not only have they ever been able to bring it back, they can't even stop it from leaving. And I
Right.
think that's the big problem. And I think one of the biggest issues in this country that has been sadly neglected is that we let these companies go, which we didn't have to do. We could have found ways to stop them, but then we left all of those people who are all of a sudden out of jobs alone. Sorry, nothing we can do. The factory left. Here's 13 weeks of unemployment insurance.
Yeah.
Good luck. No education, no help, no nothing. And so a lot of people in this country are pretty frustrated about
Right.
what's going on at any level of government.
Yeah.
So I think that just helped feed Trump's tactics.
Yeah. And in the end, why do you think he backed? I mean, all we saw, I mean, the Daily Show had a great bit about it. He's not backing down. Lutnick saying he's not backing out, everybody's saying back, but then he backed down. I mean, in that final
Yes.
act there, or Thursday, I think it was. What do you think was the tripwire final? I mean, I think Lutnick
Well-
or one of them got involved, right? Or the Bissett.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So
all of
what? I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Forgive me.
Well, neither am
I'm an
I,
old
so,
soldier,
okay.
But I mean, I know that the yields were going up. Like, what was kind of that tripwire that last day that kind of tripped him over the wire? You think?
Well, I think that's what it was, is that too many people who he's catering to, who's trying to make richer, finally said, look, this has got to end. You've got to stop this. This is when you've got a threat of inflation and a threat of recession at the same time, and the stock market is going baloney, and now the bond market is too. You've got to do something. So he had to back down. He's given everyone this so-called 90-day pause of these tariffs. But I think,
negotiate deals with the 75
well,
mysterious companies they won't name, right?
yes. I mean, it's probably difficult and scary and risky to even make a prediction of what's going to happen. But I think the only way that he's going to be able to redeem himself here is in 6 weeks, I'll say. He's going to have to come on the air and say, look, all these countries have come back and they've said, we'll do whatever you want us to do, and we'll lower our tariffs if you lower theirs. And all he'll be able to do is stand up and say, see, I won. I told you this was going to work. We're bringing back all of these jobs. The tariffs are down to practically nothing. And I told you that this was going to work. And as soon as he does that 6 weeks from now, because if he waits till the 90 days, that's going to be too late. The market's going to be going like this the whole time.
Right.
But if he does it in 6 weeks, it'll give him enough time to say that he's met with everybody, and it won't matter whether it's true or not. He's going to be able to say, "I won," and everybody's going to say, "I told you so," or we told you, we Republicans told you Democrats, and that could be if we haven't gone into a recession in 6 weeks, a deeper one than we're already kind of heading towards now. Then it could solve the problem. So he had to do something quickly just to stop this downfall. He just didn't realize that the stock market and the bond market was going to react so violently. So
but didn't they? I mean, you do this for a living. You've been studying this your adult life. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it was kind of predictable, actually. I mean, the way he did this, the way he dropped it. I guess that's what's frustrating for a lot like me. I mean, I get pissed off because look, and it's something I say a lot. It's like Trump's an idiot. He's a narcissist. He's toxic. Yeah. He is him. But fuck, Howard Lutnick is allegedly not an idiot. He ran a Wall Street firm. I mean, Besant is not an idiot. Peter Navarro is a fucking idiot. And nuts. And how he goes on any channel and they don't say, what do you mean you made up an economist? But having said all that, these aren't stupid men, I would hope. What leads someone like a Peter Navarro, I guess a Lutnick or a Besant to take part in this and say, hey, everything's going to be a whole. I mean, that's what I can't get over. You guys
I'm not sure that I can explain it either. Obviously,
I know.
I'm not in their head, but it would seem to me that, their job is pretty important to them. And it would be one day before they were out of a job if they said anything opposite. 100%. But I think what seems to, and this is probably nothing to do with economics, but this is what almost bothers me the most, is that it seems to me that one thing a father wants to make sure his children believe in, that he is not a coward, that he's not spineless. And all of these people in office who have children who are in school listening to all the other kids telling them stories about your dad, this, I just cannot imagine how any man in the world would allow that kind of trust from his children just go right down the drain, and to know that he's a spineless, I hate to say it, but spineless coward, and won't stand up to even what he says is right and even what everybody knows is right. So I don't know why. I guess I would be willing to quit tomorrow if it had to do with my children's belief in who I am and what I am. So it's kind of unexplainable. It's somewhat of an enigma that they are willing to do this to their children. It's just hard. It's really kind of disheartening. Really,
it's a great perspective. I mean,
they're human beings.
We're fathers and mothers and professionals, and your professional careers, your professional reputation is torched forever.
Right.
It was funny when during the first Trump administration, I had a dear friend reach out to me, and they were longtime Republicans, a couple of them, and they're like, "Hey, we're thinking about going into one of the departments. I won't give too much away." But I said look, this is like 2 months into it. I said, look, man, actually it was before they even took office. And I said, and I still had friends there. And I said, look, I think it's going to be a blow up in your face. If you join this administration, it's going to end up, the way this is going to go is going to be like, I was a proud member of the Nixon administration. Like, you don't hear that very often. I said, and they did, like, well, I'm a Republican. This is our chance to serve. And they went into a department to serve, and honest to God, both of them paid a price. And one's professional career is almost destroyed forever. He barely got out with any shred of reputation. Another one's, I haven't even heard from him. He's got some small job. I mean, we never thought it was going to be better the second time. I guess what bothers me too is when we talk about the economy, when we talk about your peers who are professionals in this, the science is clear. We know it's going to happen.
Yes.
The thing about your line of work is a lot of these things have been done,
Yeah.
and they failed.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yes.
They're failed experiments. So go ahead, sir.
And there's all kinds of those examples. I mean, everybody's talking about the Smoot-Hawley Act. Everybody's talking about the tariffs from the Truman. But so there's enough evidence to show. And I've said this before. Nobody can ever win a trade war, because if they could, then no one would trade. But everybody has known since 1776, when Adam Smith wrote his book, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, that trading is one of the reasons why he saw nations getting richer and richer, trading and of course capitalism. So it's a clear indicator that people just aren't paying attention. They know the truth. They just go along with him. And I think that is really kind of frightful, actually. Yeah.
I guess the next steps then, as we get close to our time, it is the big question is we're never going to get to zero tariffs. There are tariffs. I've been beating up Democrats because a lot of Democrats have been foolishly kind of coming and saying, no, tariffs are good. No, stop talking. I mean, it's not a great time for nuance right now.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna reach a zero tariff. We don't want a zero tariff situation, right?
Well,
they do protect our economy, don't they?
Well, they protect our economy, kind of, but we are the third most populated country in the world, and we are the sixth most richest in terms of income per person. And so since our government gives billions and billions and billions of dollars to every big corporation and all agricultural products and everything else, that brings down their cost of production so they can compete with these smaller countries and infant industries around the world. And so those are the countries who need tariffs against us. Otherwise, they would destroy their domestic production. And and we are who they have to be protected from. We don't have to protect anybody from us. Yeah. That's just his story. And as I said, it's not going to grow a bunch of manufacturing jobs here anyway, because we couldn't even stop them from leaving in the first place. So this is if we were and the trade deficit that he keeps talking about as if it's a big deal. Yeah. You've got a choice. You can either be a rich country and have a trade deficit, or you can be a poorer country and have a trade surplus. Well, I don't think you have to be an economist to pick out which one you'd rather be. And when you're a trade deficit, I know you know this, when you have a trade deficit, you're borrowing from other countries, and all you're giving them is little pieces of paper with some president's picture on it. I mean, this is a huge deal. So he's basically shooting the country in the head is what he's doing. So it's frightful. And by the way, just to get back to your initial question about the stock market and the bond market, the stock market especially fluctuates with everything. But if people just ignored it and just let it go and say, yep, this is a sandbox for a bunch of people with money. It's just a playground. Don't worry about it. Nobody's lost anything yet, just on paper. And it's a few people, because most people don't own stocks. But they don't do that. And so when the National Weather Service says tornadoes are in the area, take cover, whether you take cover or not isn't going to matter to the tornado. It's going to come or not. But when you tell the country that we're heading for a recession, take cover, the first thing everybody's going to do is stop spending. But that is a recession. So this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're bringing it on yourself by scaring people into stopping spending, which is exactly what they're trying to avoid. So it's horrible advice. It's a terrible situation we're in, but you'd be irresponsible in not saying the situation that we're in. We're heading, potentially at least, towards a recession. It's not a good situation.
It's scary. And small business worries me too. I mean, obviously a lot of small business, they don't have the cash flow to buy. I mean, I saw there was a guy who's unfortunately being mocked online, but he was a Trump voter, but he said, 100% of my company does tire rims.
Yeah.
All of his stuff, he ships in 5 to 6 containers a year, right?
Yep.
So I'll be out of business in 6 months. And he's not alone that way. They just don't have that kind of cash flow. I saw a Reddit piece where somebody said, I owe $500,000 on tariff, for the shipment that's sitting in the port. And he's like,
yes,
I don't have $500,000, and I'll never make that back.
Right. There was an article that just talked about a farmer getting something from the U.S. I can't remember now what it was. And he had to pay a huge tariff that he didn't realize, like $2,000 that he never had to pay before, and all of a sudden he was stuck with this huge bill. The other big thing is that for most countries around the world, tourism is a pretty big part of your GDP. For the U.S., it's about $3 trillion. Canadians aren't coming here anymore.
No.
People from England aren't coming here anymore. People from the EU aren't coming here anymore. Australians aren't coming here anymore. I mean, okay, there are a few states in the Midwest that aren't going to make any difference, but every state along the border, they're going to be a huge loss of tourism, and that's gonna really hurt the country. And this is what I mean by his causing us to lose faith in people around the country. They're just not going to come here.
Right. And once that pattern changes, it's gonna take Herculean efforts to make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, 3.5 years from now, 4 years from now, of people finding other places to go than Florida, other places to go, they're
besides
just gonna,
California and New York and Massachusetts. Yeah, of course.
Right. Once they get used to not coming, they're going somewhere else. And those people, that's plenty of time to build their own tourist business.
Absolutely.
Plenty of time to build their own small business. Yeah. And again, the price is going to pay. And I'll let you go with this, is for me as a former small business owner, as I've got family that owns small businesses, retail, they're the ones who are going to pay the price. It won't be Apple. And like we said, we opened this conversation with Apple and NVIDIA and Dell getting breaks from the tariffs, but not the little guy, not the guy who shipped over tire rims.
Right.
Once again, like you said, that there's that right there. We circling back to your last such an important statement. Once again, inequality is just going to get worse, and it doesn't help when you have a video of the president bragging in the White House that his friends made $2.5 billion or $250 million.
He is so thoughtless. I just don't understand how you can be so callous about this whole country and not care about anybody else but yourself as the president.
Yep. Yeah. And they got elected again. Well, Doctor, I appreciate your time, Peter. Thanks for joining us, Peter. I know it's getting late in the day. You got things to do, but just really appreciate you jumping in here with us to have this conversation. I want to talk to somebody who knows what the hell's going on, and you answered the call. So thanks so much.
Thank you very much for asking. It was very nice to meet you.
We'll drag you back here again.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Economist, fun. I'm telling you. I mean, it's hard to talk about the economy right now and have a laugh, but my God, it's just so crazy. The whole roller coaster and making stuff up as they go. Yet here we are. So I really appreciate Peter joining us. It was kind of nuts, but it's great stuff. And let's all give a shout out to Amory the Booker, because I made her life super hard this week, but she nailed it another way. So I am thrilled. Look, this is the fun part of the show, you guys. Still, I love the panel. That's the one thing we're never going to get rid of here at Too Late to Cancel, because it is when we have a good laugh. The bottom line, y'all, and the reason we changed it to Too Late to Cancel and keep doing this is because, my gosh, you just kind of laugh. If you remember Christopher Titus being on the show, other than him busting my balls for half an hour, he also talked about the fact that his show is nothing but having a good laugh and having some comedy. So I'm just thrilled to welcome really cool people to the show. So let's get to the panel this week. We have an absolutely amazing group. Let's bring the ladies on. Ladies, welcome. You, just amazing. Good to see you guys. So we've got Alex Kumin tearing up the comedy circuit, recently named one of the top New York comics to watch this year by Time Out magazine. Also a 3-time thyroid cancer survivor, which is hilarious. Yikes. Nothing funny about that. Yeah, go big or go. Alex, I went to Iraq 3 times for the food. I would say I can't understand why you would do that 3 times, but nonetheless.
Iraq. Wow. Well, hey.
Have you ever had actual kebab in Iraq? It's delicious. Trust me.
Incredible.
And of course, Gwendolyn Osborne-Smith, her Jamaican British actress, wellness influencer. Yes, you definitely saw her on The Price is Right. Welcome, Gwen. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. I know technology can be a challenge, and here you are. Appreciate seeing you.
Yes, I made it. I made it through. Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
It's so good to see you guys. And thanks for joining us, and thanks for the first Too Late to Cancel. You guys are the first Too Late to Cancel panel. I really appreciate it. Man, it has been a crazy time, but you've got some cool stuff going on right now, Gwen. You're got new acting roles, All the Queen's Men. I mean, you've got a lot going on in your life these days. You're not sitting still at all, are you?
Oh, no. I mean, it's very hard for me to sit still, but I do love to meditate because I realize the benefits of that, making it useful when I am moving around and not just aimlessly moving around. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're always so busy, but what are we really busy doing? So, yes. And I guess all that meditating helped me book a role. So I'm on All the Queen's Men on BET Plus. And I'm on 9 episodes. There's like this break in it, which I've never heard that they do on shows. But half of the episodes have aired, and the next half are coming up sometime in the summer. So, yay!
Nice. It's always good to be working. It was funny. We had Mark Valley on, and Mark Valley was actually one of my West Point classmates. He's an actor, and he's my age. I think he's my, yeah. And he's on the show. He goes, yeah, I'm kind of retired. I'm doing my podcast. And the next week he booked another movie. I'm like, hey man, this is the place.
I love it. I hope I have the same story.
Good vibe.
There you go. This is the place. All the cool kids. Look at our fans. They know. They'll recommend it. Half of my fans are agents. That's the thing. It's they don't do it. And Alex, again, I met you just got named up and coming comic in New York City. And by the way, you're looking great. Alex was up at 3 a.m. last night, y'all. So she still came in.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm like, ooh, we could have maybe gua shot a little bit before today.
No, you're looking great. You gotta get the glossy filter.
I know. There's a lot of filter happening on the back end of the screen. I know. I got home at 3. I was like, bold move with this Sunday morning podcast.
I was gonna say, it's great, and you're not cursing me. Like I said,
not yet.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point, actually. I had to get Titus's ass out of bed. I'm not shitting you. I call him. That was, I called him up, said, "Dude, what are you at?" "Oh man, that's today." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, it's 10 minutes. Get the fuck out of bed." So anyway, it's great to see you guys. I appreciate it. And Gwen, we you were in Wonder Woman 1984. I had to. So one of the things I love doing with every one of our actors and actresses, I go into your IMDb and I pull out random shit from there. So what'd you do in there?
So my name is Amazon number 8.
Oh, wow. Okay.
but yeah, the story is kind of very magical because everybody always wants to come to LA and just somebody tap them on the shoulder and say, be in my movie. And so I get to say that did actually happen. So I was just randomly, I was at an event and Patty Jenkins was there. She's a director and writer of Wonder Woman 1984. And she said, she had seen me and she knew a little bit about my backstory and everything. She was just like, I've been watching you, girl, and you're a powerful woman. And I want you on my next movie, Wonder Woman. I want you to be my highly featured Amazon. And I was like, what? Like, is this really happening? Don't joke around with me. Like, whatever you need me to do, I will backflip, play the piano, sing for you, whatever you need me to do, jump off this tree. And she was like, yeah, I want you. So it was a 6-month auditioning process, which who's ever heard of that shit? Yeah.
For Amazon number 8.
For Amazon number 8. I was going to say, that's bullshit.
Okay.
You should call up Sally.
We're not going to go number 1 for a 6-month audition process?
Number 1? Well, number 1 is actually Baby Wonder Woman.
Okay, Baby Wonder Woman. Okay, that's fair. That's right. It was Baby Wonder Woman.
It was Baby Wonder Woman, who Lily Aspel did an amazing job. Yeah. And then they, I had to ride 3 horses, 3 different ways, 3 different styles of horseback riding. I had to go to the circuit place and circus training place and put on a harness and just, they were just casually like, just jump up that wall and do a flip and land in a martial arts stance. I was like, oh.
Without a harness?
Sure.
Just without a harness, like in a harness.
In a harness.
Okay, in a harness.
So,
okay, wow.
Okay.
Hello, I never put on a harness before. So I did that and then booked the job. It was taping in London. And then it was another 6-week process of 6 hours a day of personal training and stunt training.
Good Lord.
Yes. And then being fitted in our outfits are fit to our bodies. So you have to learn how to stand to get ready for that. That takes 2 hours at a time, 3 hours. So they feed you while you're standing because you can't move. So, yeah, I learned so much about this, but the best part of it was being around other Amazons from around the world that we all kind of had a similar look to each other, but we all had these different stories. And it was like one's half Finnish and Jamaican, one's Trinidadian and British. Like they're all different. So we said Trinidadian on your post, Alex. Yeah. But they were all incredible women. And for me, looking at them, I was admiring them and hearing their stories. And I was like, wait, Gwendolyn, you are one of these women.
That's it.
You're not just here admiring these incredible women. You're one of them. You actually did this shit. You know what I mean? So when I came back, it was like a complete renewal, rejuvenation, refocus, reset. Yes, let's do this. And so, unfortunately for Price is Right, but fortunately for my career, I had to be like, well, I can't do them both. Oh, so I had to say goodbye. So
there you are, screen right there, Gwen. Look at you. Wow.
Price is Right. And back into my acting. So
look at that picture. You look badass, sister.
Are your arms still like that? Well, you look so jacked. You look
not
so
really.
good. You look amazing. And I'm like, yeah. Are we keeping that?
See if I still have them. Like they're
Yeah,
still
do we still
alive.
have?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad we're remote. So I'm just gonna say that
yes, I
because
still train
I'm like
pretty
my
hard,
teeny weeny, and then there's Dad Bod, the host. Here,
Yeah.
you know.
Thrilled to
But
have on my
Alex-
comedian turtleneck. Yeah. Little
You're
different
awake.
training on my end.
Were
they feeding you
It's like
double
a transition.
martinis?
No, it's like a transition from Gwen.
We all look extremely intelligent in our turtlenecks.
We really do.
okay?
Yes. Give me my glasses.
I wear a Henley. I wear black t-shirts and Henleys. I'm turning into Josh Hawley. Where I play, we're gonna turn the show into like something about like being masculine here soon. Just like, no. I always wear black to hide my dad bod. I admit it. You've heard it here. But now, Alex, you've had a health journey. You've had a health journey yourself, Alex. I mean, holy shit balls. I mean, tell us about that. That's. I mean, I love that you do bits, but Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's psychotic. I've had thyroid cancer 3 times. First at 21,
Jesus.
and then 26, and then 35. And I'm 37 now. I have a clean. We're all good as of a couple months ago, which is we love that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's even though it's thyroid, all my doctors were like, it's thyroid cancer. Like you're so lucky. This is the easiest cancer to have, and it's like,
thanks.
Okay,
the easy cancer.
Yeah,
okay.
pretty sure. Yeah, they're like, it's the best one. It's the best cancer. It's like, I think the best cancer is when someone else has it. It's been interesting. It's been a really interesting peek behind the health insurance curtain of this country, and just trying to navigate all that. And as a kind of younger person, especially when I was 21 and doing it, it's so insane. It's so insane, the system that we've set up. But I feel really confident. I'm like the go-to insurance person with my friends now. And anytime someone has a lump, they're like, is this where your thyroid is? Like, is this, I'm like the go-to cancer person, which feels really good. And I am calling myself a doctor in my spare time.
Your Instagram post
your
about
medical adjacent
about healthcare was amazing. Like honestly,
thank you.
It was so knowledgeable, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what? She knows all about it."
That whole bit. Yeah. That's how I saw you first. Is your bit about the healthcare, the insurance system, and the fact that the healthcare that's a bit tells you all you need to know about our fucking healthcare system, doesn't it?
It's so crazy. That was born from, and as often, like a lot of stand-up bits usually come from like moments of big emotion, right? Like I think a lot of comedians will talk about that. That bit came from a 2.5-hour conversation. It was like a ping pong match of like trying to call the doctor and the healthcare, and they're like, we need the code for this and we need this and that. And I just like collapsed to the floor in tears. And I was like, write everything down. This will be funny someday. It's not funny right now, but write this all down. And it became like my favorite bit to tell.
Having so much fun.
I love this. Thank you, Luigi. Anyways, so that's that.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on being clean and healthy again. And what's the prospects? Are you done? I mean, 4-time is probably enough. I mean, 3.
I feel like, well, as a comedian, rule of 3s is very big for me. So I think if I get it 4th, I think she's gone,
No,
but
it's not happening. We are not speaking that into existence.
We will not speak it into existence. What for? What? No.
We were just talking about that earlier, right? We were just talking about me, trying to summon ambushes. So yeah, it's like
No, I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
Yeah, notice the black humor between cancer survivors, soldiers. It's a weird thing, So, I appreciate that. Well, look, let's get to the. So as I told you guys, I didn't give them ahead of time that we do a thing called the panel picks. JJ has switched it up a little bit, but the way this works is we picked 4 things to talk about. Each person gets to pick one as they come up. So I will start with Gwen. You're the far side. You're furthest away from me. Bring up the panel picks there, JJ. Look at that new format. I love our show. You guys, you're so organized. This is the first time I'm seeing it. Oh, here we go. Needless to say, Gwen, this might be yours, Gwen. I want to know about, give me your worst Price is Right story. You did 12. So those who don't know, Gwen, who didn't age in 12 years apparently, was on the Price is Right as a model for 12 years. I think you have a picture, don't you? It's got the upside the camera. What's that accent? We're going to go. There you go. Look at that. That's your final your final appearance on Price is Right. So Gwen, give us your best story of what happened on the Price is Right. And then of course the Price is Wrong comes from, Adam Sandler and
the best story.
Happy Gilmore.
The
Go ahead.
or like, you want the best story? You want where I felt not good on Price is Right?
That one. I want that one because that's what we're doing so far.
Okay,
The show, we just talked about cancer. So, hey.
I don't really have...
What can you do? Bring it. You got nothing.
Working with Bob Barker, obviously now he's no longer with us. Bless his soul. It's obviously, I got to work with an icon in this industry. And it was very scary because when I first started, we were Barker Beauty. So it just feels like a whole nother world.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Never happened today. And also race-wise, there was this rule where they would only have one other and two white girls. So I was always one of the others, right? I mean, you could never do that today. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Anyway, so I come on and I'm learning all of the games because you have to learn the games in order to know. People think that we just stand there knowing nothing and smiling, but we have to know what the fuck's going on. Else you're going to get ran over by a car. A piece of equipment.
Well, they did a bit on that SNL. That's a whole bit on SNL.
You got to know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little bit of a brain. Okay. So I'd like to think I have a lot of one, but on there, at least a little bit of a brain. So I'm standing there and I'm fucking trying to remember how this game goes. And I pulled the reveal of the price too early. So now the person who's supposed to be guessing it already has the answer. And then so does the rest of the audience, right? So now Bob just calls me out. He's just like, and Gwendolyn, our new model, has messed our whole game up. So we have to cut tape now.
God.
I was just like, oh my God, I've just cost so much money on the show. And so I was just scared as fuck. I'm like at that point, it was like my first year. I'm thinking, that's it. Fuck it. I don't have a job now.
Right.
I'm going to be done.
That was fun.
He turned it around and he made a little joke out of it. He goes, I like Gwendolyn. She's actually a little taller than me in heels on. I don't usually allow models to be taller than me on this show, but she has the greatest smile. So we're just going to pretend like this never happened and redo this again. Phew! Okay, so I kept my job and I got through it. So that was nerve-wracking, yeah. But the other greatest part about it with Drew Carey is that I met him and I was actually pregnant with my son. And I from past experience, they don't allow you to show your pregnancy on Price is Right. So once you're pregnant, you're basically gone. So I was like, hi, Drew, I'm pregnant. I mean, I'm Gwendolyn. Nice to meet you. And I'm pregnant. And I was like, what do you want to do? And so he goes, it's totally up to you. Like, if you are fine being pregnant on the show, like, let's go with it. So he made it into like a positive thing. And so I was the first model to be pregnant, have my baby, come back on the show my baby, and show that we could be real people. Like, obviously I wasn't a thick, thin girl, and I've never really been I've always been a healthy girl, and I still am into wellness. So he was just like, just take your time, do what you need to do. And so my son, who's now 17, was the first baby that was ever shown on Price is Right. And I changed the history of being a model on television.
That's cool. I knew I liked
that's Amazon number one to me. That's a number one move.
That's a what?
That's an Amazon number one move to me.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. I like that.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. All right, bring the panel picks back up, and I'll do it right this time, JJ. All right, Alex, you're up.
The upsides of cancer. No, this one's for Gwen.
I wasn't subtle this week at all. I'm like, fuck. So here's the secret behind the scenes. Again, the show's called Too Late to Cancel. Generally, JJ wakes up at the crack of dawn in San Diego, and I'm like, JJ, panel picks, fuck. And my fiance jokes. My fiance knows, because she joked. This is how my fiance says I type. And she'll lean in like, oh, you're doing your monkey thing. Like, okay. Anyway, so these were very obvious, but go ahead. Pick one that's completely random, Alex.
Completely random. Can't even imagine which one I would pick. Upsides of cancer. We love.
Oh shit, I didn't see that coming.
We love. Left field. Yeah. No, there are some little like perks to having, like, when you have it too, you can do no wrong. Like especially all 3 times I had it, it's a get out of jail free card for anything. Morning meeting. I have cancer. Literally, what are you going to say? No, we really need you in this 8 a.m. Zoom. I have cancer. So It's my third time having cancer. I can get out of it is the ultimate get out of jail free card. And so I highly recommend. Yeah, no, like there's literally no, I could oh, it looks so good. You can just really you can let yourself go, like gain 5-10 pounds. People are like, what happened? I'm like, cancer, actually.
Cancer. Yeah.
Cancer.
You could go to
I'm using that and I don't have cancer.
I need to be at the front of every line because
yes.
Cancer.
Right? I could cut in front of the Make-A-Wish kids. I have cancer too. Sorry. Is it your third time? Is it your third time?
Well, that's the thing. Do you get like a frequent flyer card or some shit like miles?
Okay, so I have this idea.
It seems like you should.
Can I please talk about this? Because I have this idea that if we're gonna keep being our little like capitalist society, that we need to be able to start doing hospital points the way that we do like airline points, credit card points, all the miles. Like give me cancer points. I have racked up Diamond Medallion 6 status at this point. Like give me my lounge, give me my first class, like especially like if we're gonna like I have put so much money into our healthcare system already. Like I never want to be in a waiting room with someone who's like has cancer the first.
Do you know who I am?
Get on my level. Get on my level.
Do you know who I am? I'm a VIP here. Like there should be a special like 3-timers lounge.
Yes.
Yeah.
The SNL hosting. Like give me my jacket. Give me a little velvet jacket.
Yes. I love this idea. True. That's a brilliant.
If we're going to keep being the worst people, let's at least
and radiation.
Exactly.
Radiation. You get a glow.
Radiation. Right? Are you kidding me? It's amazing. I just like anytime I feel my neck acting up, I just stand in front of the microwave for a few minutes. It's great. I just like it's a little self-treatment. It's incredible.
I'm gonna try that. Well, I had no idea there were so many upsides of cancer until now. And
I highly recommend it. I highly recommend. Oh, and the post-op drugs aren't bad either.
I just had
You'll be
like
flying.
5 surgeries. I think I've had 5 surgeries since I left the army, and that still doesn't count. So I'm the same way. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm replacing all of my joints because you know what? That's cool. Hey, I'm a modern man. Literally, all my parts are on the U.S. government. They're all fucking fake. Yeah, and thank you for your tax dollars. You're paying for my big ass, and I appreciate it. All right, bring the list back. Bring the list back, JJ. Oh my god, I'm crying. Okay, Gwen, you're up.
Yeah, man, let's chat about accents. You want to talk about where we're going for our vacation? How we're going to get away? Yeah, man. We must try and go to Jamaica.
Do you go home? So where were you? Good. You were raised in Jamaica, right? Or were you raised in the UK?
No. I was raised in England.
Okay, there you go. But are your family?
Yeah, wow.
But my mom is Jamaican. So, and then, like I have so much family in Jamaica. So I get on the phone and chat with them almost daily. So I can't just turn into a Jamaican anytime I want to. It just clicks into it.
I was going to say, do you slide into it after you've had a couple drinks or when you're talking, like in certain situations?
If I've had too much to drink, then I turn straight British. Like it goes right back as if I've not left. It's ridiculous how it can just go from one thing to the next. I think if I'm just really happy, I turn into a Jamaican. Like it just suddenly I just come real happy and it just come back,
Because you can. That's the thing. I bet you. Do you also turn like British personality? Like you get real snobby and.
I completely become a snob. Like it's so easy to be a snob because I do have a couple snobs in my family, so I think about them and I'm like, oh yeah, all right, let's bring it on.
I could do that. And now you're in the United States. So do you have to do any of your roles need an American accent? How's your American accent? Where do you go for that?
My American accent is not really as good as everything else, but I'm really trying hard because I don't want to.
You're going to California.
It's amazing.
I saw it. You went to California.
But it's definitely a Valley girl, But
there you go. I saw
around,
that. Yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. Yep. And Alex, you're a Midwestern girl like me, aren't you? Or were you originally from?
Okay. Well, I'm from Boston originally.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
No accent
right there.
I should have known that. Man, I suck at this job. I was supposed to know things like that.
You did not do your research.
No, I
no, Boston, but I lived in the Midwest for 11 years.
Right.
And went to school in Wisconsin. Lived in the Midwest. Lived in Chicago, went to school in Wisconsin, and then came back. But yeah, Boston, Chicago, and Wisconsin could not be three of like the most grating accents you've ever heard, particularly on women.
A Bostonian accent then?
Yeah.
Can I do a Boston accent? Yeah, I sure
yeah.
can. Yeah,
Let's
I can,
go.
but I
Like you're
choose
home.
not to because it sounds
my dad
with
from Boston.
with this tenor, with this low voice, I sound like I exclusively eat children. But it's yeah.
Well, my dad
But
dad's
you're
from
bad
Lynn.
if you
My dad was
that
from
on
Lynn.
that Bostonian accent, it could be really good. You know what I mean? Like you could frighten the shit out of somebody, right?
It's hard though to turn the Boston accent on without absolutely ramping up curse words to the max.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. I can't do.
No,
you gotta like fucking. It's like it's just part of it. It's like just part of the lexicon to just throw the word fuck. Sorry, throw the word fucking. I keep saying it. I keep saying it and then apologizing.
Oh, there it is. Oh my god! I don't know why you're apologizing. Well, my dad's from Boston, and I grew up, and then we're OG, the Wellman. So we actually came over in 1640. So we actually
Wellman's
the
does
Wellman
sound
family. Yeah, there's a lot of Wellman. Yeah, it's very English.
Plymouth.
Well, we were Puritans.
Yeah.
But I've strayed.
My.
Say, well, it's been 400 years, but my dad had the straight up Lynn, Mass accent. You know, Boston.
Lynn is strong.
Park the car at Harvard Yard.
Yeah.
It was a running joke. One time, because I was the youngest by like 6 years. And it was this huge age gap in my family. Four kids. I think they got drunk on New Year's Eve, but we don't know. Anyway, I came around September. So, but we used to bust my dad's balls. My brother's like, Fred, you're almost like dad. And like, say car. I'm like, car. Like, yes. And Harvard Yard, park the car in Harvard Yard. That's my dad. And then the funniest part of that whole fucking thing is I actually got into Harvard in grad school, and my dad.
Okay, brag about it.
It was the cool. I am. We have to do it every week. And my dad thought was the most amazing thing ever because he's from the wrong side of the track. Lynn, City of Sin.
Yeah.
Anyway, I grew up with that fucking thing. Anyway, so Boston's a great accent to have. Oh, I love it. And my fiance works up there. Her company's up there, so we're always talking about if we move up there. So we'll just go into Boston yelling, what are you yelling about? And just kind of do the whole
and just
thing.
Remove the letter R from your brain, and then you'll be good.
Dial it up to 11. You're there. That's
there it is.
So, all right, JJ, bring the picks back. We're going to go long. I don't care. The Reverend doesn't mind. Okay, Gwen, you're up. Oh, here you go. This one we talked about. So, Gwen.
Okay.
Well, you got options, Gwen. Do you still have UK citizenship? Oh, so Runaway.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. See, Runaway is where are you going to flee when this whole thing goes to shit? Okay. That's it. That's the whole thing. I remember last week, Kenny Mobley was on. She was talking about reaching out to old lovers and find out if they're in open relationships or anything. That's not my technique. All right, Gwen, you've got options. Do you still have UK citizenship?
I wanted to go with what we were talking about before we started, which is like the wife guy. Okay, so we need to start the hashtag called wife guy.
No, we cannot bring up the pre-show stuff. This is outrageous.
We need Fred's idea of wife guy turned into a hashtag.
Wait, we have to explain to the listeners what
I have lost control of the show.
Because neither of us had talked. Yes, you have. Never have two women on. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know.
I got to learn my lesson, JJ. Anne-Marie never booked two women. No, yes. We were talking earlier. So my fiance, I don't know if Heather's in the chat or not. Sometimes she watches, sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes she runs errands when I'm here, but she accuses me of being a wife guy. And a wife guy is a dude who actually likes hanging out with his wife or his fiance and, likes her being home. And she goes to Target like, hey, I could go to Target. And they're like, no, you can't go to Target with me. And so, but we're very independent people. Like, yeah, I'm a wife guy. And they're like, these ladies didn't know what a wife guy was. I said, Tim Waltz. It's like a Midwestern, a Midwestern dad kind of thing. We actually like our spouses a little bit. So I'm very fortunate. But yes, I'm a wife guy.
It's a bad thing. And when you said
that's true.
Me and Alex were both like, wait,
you're like
a wife guy? So it's a thing. Yeah, we were like, so there's wife guys. So wherever
there are wife guys
are is where
that's
I
true.
need to be escaping to. Because we all need to find these wife guys,
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. So
the
whatever
Midwest
airline would like to work with us so that we can, make sure that the women can fly there.
Husbands fly free.
Yeah.
Most of my friends are gorgeous.
There's got to be a
great
test.
Jobs. We've got stability. We've got brains. We've got all the things. We just need the wife guys. So yeah.
Yes.
That's where
all
we're
right,
going.
I'll see what I can do. I'll ask Heather if she can connect it. Heather dragged me. Y'all, I was living in I do cook. I was living in Richmond, Virginia when we met. We met on Twitter. Okay, this is a story I'm not supposed to tell, so hopefully Heather isn't watching. And we met on Twitter. Actually, she's one of my followers on Twitter. I slid into her DMs, as the kids say.
Ooh, the DM slide.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Can you believe it? Here we are. Then she actually dragged me back to my hometown. So here I am back in St. Louis because of a beautiful woman. So
But
that's
that's
wife
because
guy.
of her.
That's wife guy. You guys, two things I said never do. I would never date a woman taller than me. Sorry, Gwen, because I am a squatty, but I am a tiny little fire plug of a human. And then two, I would never move back to my hometown, St. Louis, Missouri. And you know what I did? I moved back to St. Louis, Missouri for a woman who's taller than me. And here I am. So, that's
gotta always be open to love,
Jesus, I am a wife guy. It's true. Holy shit. Hashtag wife guy.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, I'm
and
lucky.
the fact that you just said you cook, well, see, there we go.
I do. Now she's a big cooker. She cooks a lot. She's a great cook. I mean, fantastic. I mean, she's just a remarkable human being. I mean, I don't know if you like gloat, but I have an amazing partner. I mean, she puts up with my crazy life, and you guys got to remember, we met. There was COVID, and then I ran a COVID field hospital in New York. She's like, "That's a great idea. You should totally do that." I'm like, "Okay." So I drove to New York and and then Lincoln Project called. Hey, what's? Oh yeah, she's like, the Lincoln Project called. They're getting
very brave.
She's like, yeah, you should totally go to the Lincoln Project. Sure, everybody on Earth hates them. It's great, And then we got sued by Mike Flynn. That was fun. And she's like, "Oh, that sucks." Okay, it's just another day in the life. So no, I couldn't have a better partner. So I am truly a wife guy. It's official. So there you have it. Hashtag wife guy.
To hear that.
Thank
you. They do exist.
Yeah,
they exist.
There's a few of us out here, It's like, and look, and late in life, I'm in my late 50s. We met our, so I never give up. I was, I had a wonderful. My first wife passed away. My second wife and I had a successful 24-year marriage, but we parted ways when it was time. And I thought, well, I'm done. Who gets a second chance? Who gets a third chance, right? And anyway, here I'm.
Rule of threes. Rule of threes.
There you go.
There's the threes.
Oh,
yes.
wow. What's that called in comedy? It's called a callback.
A callback.
A callback.
Am I calling marriage a cancer? Yes, I
am. Because it could eat you alive. It could.
It often does.
There you go. Well, with that, I think we had a callback and some grim humor. Ladies, so Gwen, start with you. Where can folks find you? We've been posting all kinds of information about where to find you. Where can people find you?
So I'm very active on my Instagram, which is It's Gwendolyn. Yes. ITS before my name, Gwendolyn. I'm also on Facebook, Gwendolyn Osborne. I'm on TikTok a lot too, which is under Gwendolyn Osborne. That's my TikTok.
Okay.
And I also have a website, gwenosborne.com. So you can find me there.
Perfect. This is great. Easy way. All right, Alex, you're in New York right now. I think you have a tour. Do you have a tour coming up? I thought you had some tour.
I got some road gigs coming up. I'll be in Nashville next Thursday at Zany's Nashville, and then next Friday, Saturday, the 17th, 18th in Cleveland at Hilarities. So please come out if you guys are in the area, and you can follow me at and Chicago coming up in May. So Alex Kumin, Alex.Kumin, Kumin on all platforms.
That's there. Wow, man, I had such a good time with you guys. We got to get you back on here again. Appreciate first, and you are our debut panel on Too Late to Cancel. So congratulations, you'll have that forever. that honor. It's a huge honor.
We love.
We'll send you your robes and like your 3-timer cancer robe, and you'll be all set.
Let's go. I'll be waiting.
Ladies. Oh man, I love talking to you. We'll see you soon. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you.
Bye. Likewise.
Bye.
Oh man, I'm gonna be laughing for a while on that one. Okay, wife guy. All right, that was a blast. What an awesome folks and what lives. I mean, what I love about the panel, my favorite thing about the panel is I get folks on here and we find out that you think you know somebody from Instagram or comedy or TikTok, and then I dive into IMDb or something like that, and you find the most fascinating people, and I love hearing their stories. So that was a blast. And so we got to do a little get downshift as we move into the next part of the show. So if you're paying attention, JJ, I think you've got the piece. So this week, a gentleman went viral. He started at Facebook because he's 85 years old. And this gentleman, Richard Graf, is an 85-year-old pastor retired Lutheran pastor in North Carolina. And I don't see it, JJ, on the screen, but you might be wrong. I might be wrong. So Pastor Graf went very viral with a piece he's talking about how he's seen so many presidents in his life, starting with FDR all the way through Trump. And what he sees in Donald Trump is horrifying and terrifying and awful. And so my booker Anne Marie said, "Oh God, you got to get this guy on the show." And so we reached out to him. And I got hold of Pastor Richard Graf, and I'm really excited about having the conversation. And you'll find we're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about what he sees in Donald Trump and what it means to the country for a man who's been alive for 85 years later. So let's welcome Pastor Richard Graf to the show. Pastor Graf, welcome to Too Late to Cancel. It's so great to have you. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us. You made a bit of a splash. I'm not sure if you intended to make a bit of splash, but you didn't think that was going to happen, did you?
Did not. No, sir.
I love it. You wrote a long piece. We kind of showed it in the introduction, and your passion for having seen a lifetime of presidents and a lifetime of politics, and how aghast you are at this moment. What drove you to write that plea?
A lot of things. A lot of things. When President Trump was elected at the last time, I think I didn't know a whole lot about him before then. I had seen him on television. I really was surprised that he got himself involved in politics. But when he was elected then, and the things that happened and things that went on were a bit disconcerting, a bit upsetting and disturbing. This time, it's much more than that. I really feel deeply, and some people talk about a mental illness or something of that sort. I talk about spirits. And I really believe that all of us, including President Trump, we are made in the image of God. We are, all of us, sacred. All of us have God in us. And for that reason, all of us are extremely important, if we're people of faith particularly. However, there is in Scripture, for 40 days, our Lord Jesus was in the wilderness, and he came to grips with a fellow who is regarded as Satan, a spirit. And so I don't think there is an antichrist, but I think that spirit can possess people, and it possesses them more or less, depending on how much they are attuned with worldly things and how much they're willing to be possessed. I have a very strong feeling that our president is possessed, even though as being created in the image of God, is possessed by the Antichrist, because everything he does, everything he stands for, in my understanding of Scripture, in my understanding of my Lord, is Antichrist. He's not about people. When he comes out with these things about equality and about important things that are all part of Jesus' ministry, part of his teaching, part of who he was. We're all created diverse, and yet he rejects diversity. We're all created to be in this world, to care for it. He doesn't care for it. And it doesn't matter where we've come from. It doesn't matter who we love. It doesn't matter what our particular views in politics are. But these are basic, fundamental things that I see Donald Trump and those who follow him, perhaps more those who follow him and manipulate him than him, are, these are things that he stands for, and things that I, both by vocation and by faith, reject and oppose. So I write these things. I have written a number of these things, posted them. I get several shares. I get maybe 100 likes. This thing has gone to 500 shares.
And that's not even it, because people are screenshotting it, and I'm seeing it. I saw it on Instagram, and it's more than just that too. It's gone viral in so many ways. We spotted it. We're very online here, but it does touch a lot. I am not as much as you. I was raised in the Catholic faith here in Missouri. I was on one of the April 5th hands off protests the other day, sir, and next to me was the Sisters of Mercy. Sisters of Mercy who. And I actually talked to the Sisters of Mercy. I said, hi, ladies, what brings nuns out here to protest the president? And it was what you touched on very, very clearly is there are parts of our faith, if you believe, if you've read the Bible, that we have to care for others. That's the whole section. The entire thing, humanitarianism and giving. As we were getting ready to talk today, we find out that they've decided that North Carolina, all the people who lost their homes to the storm, are not going to get any more money. That the government, we're just done. FEMA's done. We're not. It's not our job. The USAID was shut down, and I served in Iraq, sir, and USAID were the ones that built wells. Built water treatment plants to save lives, saved countless millions of lives with healthcare. It does feel like we're rolling back what made us humanitarians in the first place, and that does go against the faith. And you wrote your piece. You wrote a long list of the many presidents you saw who were imperfect men, right? I mean, none of them were perfect, were they?
Absolutely, none of them were perfect. All of them had their faults. I can't say. The Democrats or the Republicans, I favored either one. There were a lot of things that were different. But I think the big thing with me and with Donald Trump is all of those presidents seemed to do the very best they could to be moral, upstanding, serious individuals who kept the office of presidency above board. To be the president of the United States was something extremely important. It was something you didn't play games with. It was something you didn't make fun around. You held these things as examples and models for the rest of the country, and particularly for the youth in the country. When I was a kid, the president, oh my goodness, the president was a few steps below Jesus. And so, you really, that was an important, that is gone. That is all gone. And now we have, I call him a buffoon. Maybe I shouldn't use language like that, but I think
we use much worse ones here, sir.
well, for me, a worse one would be Antichrist.
Yeah, it's pretty much up there on your side of these things.
I think that's pretty heavy. And I think, I do think he's manipulated. I don't think he is totally in charge. I do think there are those, for whatever reasons, I think primarily greed, but I think there are those who are using him. I'm not so sure that we're not going to discover that after we no longer have a republic and we finally are in a fascist nation, that they're going to take over. And Donald Trump will be a puff out of the smokestack.
Yeah. Useful idiot, if you will, right? Someone who's got what he wanted. He wanted to stay out of jail, and he wanted to get rich, and they're lining his pockets and keep him out of jail, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and he has a narcissistic. He has this vision of his own personal grandeur. He is wanting an empire, not because it's a good thing, but so that he can be the emperor. He is wanting. Well, I think coming up on the 20th, when we celebrate not only Easter but also Adolf Hitler's birthday. When we come up to that point, I think we're going to have a great awakening. I think we're going to discover something that is going to be not just scary, but terrifying. And I think he's going to bring that to us, because I have little doubt that we're going to face, if not complete, at least a form of martial law. And he is going to be able to attain that role of, and he would never, I think, call it dictatorship, but that role of authoritarianism, which will give him power and will make him the little emperor that he seeks to be. And I feel kind of sorry for him for that, because once he's attained that, what else has he got?
Right. He's not a young man. He's 70, 78, 79 years old. He's not much younger than you, sir. And he's and what he's done. And you have a unique history. I know you don't like to talk about it, but I saw stories about you about 2017. For those who don't know, you baptized Dylan Roof, who did a horrible, monstrous thing. You saw the face of evil.
Yeah, but there again with Dylan, I also was teaching at our seminary in Columbia, South Carolina at the time, and one of those, a fellow named Pickney, who was also a public servant, was doing some graduate work at our seminary at that time, and I got to know him.
Yeah.
But Dylan was, I think he was probably about 5, 6 years old, something like that, when I baptized him. He's a child of God. He bears the image of Christ in his soul. He doesn't recognize it, I don't think. But yeah, I did a piece on TV about Dylan. Cute little blonde-headed kid, innocent. He got caught up in what so many are wrapped up and caught up in today, and which I see Mr. Trump as embracing. And when I see somebody like Dylan, and I think of Dylan, and I don't know what Dylan's future is going to be. I haven't talked with him forever. But it hurts me to know that there may be a lot of Dylans out there that right now, today, Donald Trump is influencing, along with his other minions, to be just like Dylan. And I think it is a racial thing. And I think it is a societal thing. And I think when we talk about equality, we're talking about something that was very special to my Savior. And when we talk about equality, Donald Trump doesn't understand the word. You know, he is very much in for those people being above others and being in charge of others. And I'm not so sure if this wasn't 150 years ago, he wouldn't be a strong advocate for slavery. You know, I mean, that's an opinion, and I don't know. I'm not there, and I won't be traveling back there. But, you know, I think that's true. I think that's true.
No, it's hard not to see it though. And the love of money. I mean, the video has been circulating this week when the stock market spiked after he, stopped it from imploding, and introducing his friends about how many millions and billions they made because of him. I know I'm not a rich man by any stretch of imagination. You're a man of God. You're a pastor. I mean, I'm sure, not exactly a path to riches, of course, as well. But
No.
but we do know either faith that we were in, even Buddhist faith, even Muslim faith. My friends are Muslims in Iraq. That love of money, that greed is so anathema to everything we believe in. It's
Well, and that was the
shocking. Even
driving,
for me, it's shocking to see, isn't it?
yeah, that was the driving force, I think, behind the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire is exactly, I think, the model that Trump and his people, and to a large extent, the evangelical church. And I dislike using the term evangelical because I am an evangelical, which means to
Yeah.
proclaim the truth. And I don't think they do. So they do it as they understand it. But
Right.
I think those kind of things, that the Roman Empire is our model. That's what we're looking for. They ought to go back to Genghis Khan. He had a bigger empire. But but the Roman Empire, to be sitting on the throne as a God man, to be directing everybody, to be determining whatever is going to be for everybody, that's where Donald Trump wants to be. And that's, I think, where a lot of the leaders in the evangelical church want to be. So,
Yeah.
and we're, the church is in a serious strait here because, particularly me, I'm a member of the Evangelical Lutheran Church, and there's so many people out there who think, oh, well, yeah, you're in with. Do you know Donald Trump's personal faith person? And no, in fact, I think they have a good bit of the spirit of Antichrist in them. Humanity, creation, all these God things really are taking such a backseat to financial rewards, to position, to power, to all of the things that I think were an abomination to Jesus. Things that he absolutely opposed. He lived his whole life against. And to this is Holy Week coming up, with Palm Sunday tomorrow, and I think during this week particularly, we need to look, if we're going to be Christian now, and if we're going to be something else, that's fine too, because I don't see anywhere in the Gospels where Jesus had anything negative to say about anybody else who turned and worshiped one God. And there are three major groups on this earth that do. And one of them has somehow become demons. I mean, the Muslims worship the same God we do.
Yep.
And then there are mystics and there are others all around, all over.
Yeah.
And I really believe Jesus would embrace all of that. I can see him sitting down in a conference and discussing God and spirits and all sort of things with all of these people. And, to reject them, it's like taking a piece of our brain, tearing it out and throwing it away. And then to follow where it seems like this country is going is to take a piece of our heart and tear it out and throw it away. And the image of God, that which we are, we're tearing it apart. And we've got a man at the head who doesn't see anything at all wrong with that. In fact, I think sees it as a plus, sees it as what he was elected to do and to be. But one of the things that bothers me as much as anything else is that as we go forward with what we call our republic, we talk about democracy. To me, a republic is democracy in which we elect leaders. And once that election is completed, those leaders in our democracy become all of our leaders. Whether I be Democrat, whether I be Republican, my congressman represents me. My congressman listens to me. My congressman weighs what I say along with what everybody else says, and that's what forms his actions and his opinions when he serves in the Congress. We have a congressman in my district. He is so much a carbon copy of Donald Trump, which bothers me. I sit across a room from him every Monday morning. He has a group of men. I think they're all former military. Nice looking bunch. Got a lot of muscle and pretty smart people. And they're sitting across from all of us old men who are with the church, but they're doing a Bible study. And he's over there doing a Bible study. And I want so badly to get up and go across the room and say, what are you studying that for? That's got nothing to do with Christianity. You're worshiping the man. You're not worshiping what the man worshiped. And that's what Christianity is. Worship what Jesus worshiped. Don't put him up on a pedestal and bow down. You might as well have a golden calf. But that's what it seems to me like a lot of people are doing today. And that calf is made of gold. And it's 72 karat or as much as you can get. But it does bother me that republic that has been nurtured up to this point and was really making grand strides, I think, as we were going through all the way from, talk about presidents, I think Jimmy Carter is one of the best presidents we ever had, one of the greatest presidents we ever had. I think he came upon a very difficult time to be Jimmy Carter. And that kind of will put him down in history.
Our times make us, our times do make us, unfortunately.
But I think we made great strides. Barack Obama, I put him right up there with Lincoln. I really feel like he had people at heart. He was concerned about people, and it didn't matter who they were. And he was willing to do what the people wanted him to do. And I think in that regard, to me, and when he sang, when I saw that TV thing, when he was at that church in Charleston, and he sang, I thought, this is the President of the United States, and what better example of what an American is somebody who does that on that occasion for those people.
It's a good place for us to wrap, Charlie. I think you're right. I think that example, and that's what we're talking about. That's why we invite you on the show too, is to have that conversation about, what do we face in the moment we face, and what are we all going to do? And you spoke out, Some of us are, out in front and getting shots across the bow, but it does matter. I think what you're doing matters. Is like we have to tell our fellow Americans
Well,
this is not the way. So,
I had open heart surgery right before
oh,
Christmas, and am doing very well. I had an
yeah,
excellent surgical team at Duke University,
there you
and
go.
they were just wonderful. In fact, I even became a fan during the basketball tournament.
Wow, that's a big conversion. So I don't know.
And
That
that's a
might be the most
big,
controversial thing you just said the whole show.
but
North Carolina, that's a big deal.
well, and I've been a Carolina fan for a long time, just for this tournament, just for this one, and
All
Duke
right,
blew it.
we'll
So
let it go.
that's where we go. But when I look at when I look at what's going on in our world today, and when I consider those kinds of things, and when I see people being duped, because that's what's happening. These people that think Donald Trump is so great, they don't know what's happening with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
They don't understand. So I don't know where I was going with that. You got me off on Duke.
I got you going. I'll let you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking time with us. Thank you for
I
sharing your
appreciate being
wonderful
invited.
insight and years of experience. It's a wonderful perspective. As you mentioned, going into the Holy Week, we're taking next week off for that reason, and I hope you get some rest and relaxation, and we go back to the fight, because you're right. We have to stand up for our humanitarian, who we are as
I was
humans and
going
who
to
we
say
are as strategical faith.
you got me a little bit back on track now. As we go into Holy Week, we are looking at our Savior. We are looking at his suffering and dying on a cross. I personally don't believe he died for our sins. I believe he died to show us the ultimate of what God was like. That is how God is to us. The sacrifice, the willingness to do everything and give everything out of love. Absolute, total, complete, positive love for people and for the creation he made and for his image in all of us and in everything that's around us. You're in the image of God. JJ's in the image of God. I'm in the image of God. And so every one of us are extremely important to God. So why in the hell aren't we important to each other?
All right, there you go, sir. Thank you so much, Pastor. I really appreciate your time. Have a good week,
Thank you.
and
The
thank you
light
so much.
died. Wow. I mean, wow. That was a great conversation, not the typical one. And that is where we should wrap things. This is too late to cancel. And you see how it is now. So this is what the show's been. We're so proud of what we're building. Here's the biggest thing I need from you guys. Tell your friends, mark your calendar to be here every 11 a.m. Central, or excuse me, Eastern time, 10 a.m. Central, where I am. Join us if you're on the West Coast. You can see we keep bringing, maybe you don't know the voices we're going to bring to the table, but I promise you, we're going to bring fascinating conversations, a lot of laughs, and we're going to make you think on the show. And that's our goal. And, in this crazy time, look, the funniest people I know are soldiers in combat. The biggest laughs I ever had in my life was in the most terrifying time. So I really appreciate you guys being here every week. As always, Too Late to Cancel will be every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, or Eastern. My God, what's going on? Pacific. I'm having the worst time. JJ's like, get your shit together. So anyway, we'll be every week. Most important thing, I'm going to tell you now, we're going to do a sort of a clip show next week. Our best interviews and panels. It'll be a great time to catch up the show. It is Easter Sunday, and I think my team that's hiding behind the screen, you don't get to see, needs a Sunday off. I'd love to go to a buffet myself or something, a brunch, if you will, a Sunday brunch with my family, but we will be here. I'll probably be here in the chat, so please join us anyway. We'll have some really great clips and some conversations. In the meantime, we'll come back with an all new live show the week after. I'm so excited. We're going to have so many more new bits to do and new things you're going to enjoy. And we just love having all you guys here. The numbers are bad. This is our biggest show ever. And we got a huge group of people on Substack with us. Thank you for all our Substack joining us. My God, we got 445 people on Substack. I mean, what a great morning. I thank you. Now, here's the cool thing we're doing before I let you go. You've been asking, we've been working behind the scenes. June 6th, D-Day, I'm going to be gathering with hopefully thousands and thousands of my favorite veterans, our allies, our supporters, military family members, whoever it is. But June 6th at 2 p.m. on the National Mall between the Washington Monument and the World War II Memorial, we're going to have a Veterans March. It's going to be Unite for Veterans, Unite for America. We have heard you. We've heard everybody saying this is a really good group of folks. We've already got partners. AFL-CIO is going to be partnering. We're talking to the veteran service organizations, a lot of groups. We're looking to be what I would say nonpartisan, right? This is about veterans who have been fired by the government, veterans who are losing their health care. If you saw a video I did, if you don't follow me on TikTok and Instagram, I did a video about how they're forcing telehealth professionals, therapists, psychiatrists who were hired to do telehealth, mental health care are being dragged into the VA because this work in the office order by this idiot Doug Collins, by April 15th, thousands of people who were hired to be telehealth healthcare providers are going to be dragged to offices and cubicle farms. They are warning their mental health professionals that they're going to have to read a script during telehealth sessions while they're in cubicle farms, warning that they can't guarantee the privacy of the mental health thing. Now, if you don't think that's going to affect veterans' healthcare, I got fucking news for you. It sure as hell is. We're already facing a shortage of mental health providers. Thousands are quitting. We're getting reports now that hundreds and thousands of mental health providers, which we fought tooth and nail to hire, took years to hire and we still don't have enough mental health providers. They're quitting because they can't commute 70 miles to sit in a cubicle farm to do the exact same thing they do in their living room if Doug Collins wasn't such a fucking dick. So, June 6th, join us. We're giving you plenty of time. This is going to be in person in DC at the World War II Memorial on D-Day, June 6th. Thousands of veterans, thousands of supporters. We're really excited. You would not believe the run of show we're putting together. But if you're asking questions, there you go. Unite4veterans.org. That's Unite, the number 4, veterans.org. If you go to the website now, it's kind of a placeholder. The most important thing you can do is type in your email address. We'll email you updates. We're trying to get an idea of how many are going to show up. That's Unite4veterans.org. I would love to see you in Washington, D.C., letting this administration, this regime know that we're not going to take their changes sitting down. In the meantime, thanks to all of our regulars still being here. Thanks for being back. JJ did an incredible job. Katie did an incredible job. We are so blessed to have such amazing people behind the scenes making me look good with all of my incompetence. And it's great to see you guys. Again, this is Too Late to Cancel every week right here in the same place. Can't wait to see you again next week. In the meantime, subscribe to our Substack, FPWellman.substack. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got to get that bigger, y'all. You got to get on there. That's On Democracy Channel and everywhere else you can find us. I can't wait to see you next time. I'm Fred Wellman. Join us again for Too Late to Cancel.